Hi, folks. Welcome back to Critico's Corner. From the Washington Examiner, FBI requests groups election fraud data that shows hundreds of thousands of fraudulent ballots. Yeah, I know this group. I've seen them on the internet before. Amistad Project Director Philip Klein announced that the FBI requested to look into former Chief Trump campaign strategist Matt Braynard's data on election fraud after learning that hundreds of thousands of ballots are potentially fraudulent. The FBI has requested to look at our data, Klein announced on Twitter yesterday. And here's his tweet. Before we get into that, I want to thank all my new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I'm a new podcast channel, and it's really heartbreaking. And I'm a very small fish in a huge ocean, and I really, really appreciate it. So if you could hit that subscribe button I have on the video now, that would really be helpful. I'll never ask you for any money. Just your support so I can get above 1,000 subscribers so I can really ramp up the channel and put out some good quality content. So, again, thank you. So let's get on with it. After learning that hundreds of thousands of ballots are potentially fraudulent, the FBI has now requested to look at our data. The Amistad Project of Thomas More Society retained Matt Braynard and his team after Election Day to develop data analysis to cultivate as evidence to support election integrity lawsuits in the battleground states. We've learned that Mr. Braynard was contacted by the FBI agent Young Ao of the FBI Los Angeles field office seeking our data. That's interesting, field office, huh? Mr. Braynard is cooperating with this request, and we fully support him. This data has been used to identify hundreds of thousands of potentially fraudulent ballots in the states where we file litigation. Interesting. Klein is the former Attorney General of Kansas, now oversees the Thomas More Society's litigation efforts related to 2020 election fraud. So this guy's no chump. I know him, so... He's legitimate. He's the real deal. The Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society retained Braynard and his team after election day to develop analysis. You can read through. Mr. Klein said in his statement, we've learned that Mr. Braynard was contacted by the FBI. And we'll go through here. This data has been used to identify hundreds of thousands of potentially fraudulent ballots in states where we file litigation. More about this data will be available in Matt Braynard's appearance before a meeting with legislators in Arizona tomorrow. We have obtained substantial and compelling evidence that unlawful actions by state and local election officials in swing states resulted in the casting and counting of hundreds of thousands of fraudulent ballots and the improper spoiling of tens of thousands of valid ballots. They have a typo there. And that's been my contention from the beginning, that all the lax mail-in rules, they ever changed at the last minute, some after Election Day, believe it or not. We're making these rules as we go along, that a huge amount of voters in Milwaukee, in Philadelphia, and in other big cities, that the black voters there were voting in historic numbers. When I say historic numbers, I mean 4 or 5 times normal. It makes no sense. You never see these wild swings like this. Even Barack Obama in 2008 could not produce these kind of swings. How in the world could Joe Biden, Mr. Milquetoast, I call him the cooperative extension agent in Green Acres, if you're old enough to remember that, how could he possibly double and triple, in some cases, Barack Obama's total for black voters in big cities? It's impossible. It can't happen. Yet lose the majority of the counties that Barack Obama won in 2008 at the same time. It makes no sense. Everybody knows what's going on. The problem is knowing and proving is two different things. Ask O.J. Simpson. And that's the problem. And it's going to be a problem. And we'll never get to the bottom of it. But we'll see. It's a mess. We are pleased to cooperate with any investigative authorities, Klein told the Washington Examiner. In a statement of his own, Braynard said he's cooperating with the FBI request. Well, sure. The FBI has proactively and directly requested from me the VIP findings that indicate illegal ballots, Braynard said on Twitter. By Tuesday, we will have delivered to the agency all of out data including names, addresses, phone numbers, etc. Brainerd noted that despite recent criticism of the agency, he has faith in several FBI employees, but would still be keeping the original copies of the data. Smart man. Keep the originals. While there has been legit criticism of the actions of leaders of the agency over the last several years, I can personally attest to many patriots within the rank and file who are fighting on the side of the Constitution and law and order. And that's part of the point here. All you, I hate Trump's guts people, or I don't care for him people, or somewhere in the middle, you're missing the entire point. This whole thing is not about Donald Trump. This thing is about the Constitution of the United States. And they stomped on it. They could care less about it. The rules didn't apply because we saw an opportunity to get rid of the orange man. And it doesn't matter if we break all the laws or rules. We probably won't get caught, so who cares? How do you think society would function if you knew there was a 99% chance that you wouldn't get caught? It would be chaos. Absolute chaos. Note, everything I pass on to local, state, and federal law enforcement, litigants, legislatures, journalists, etc., is always a copy, Brainerd said. And despite sharing it with individuals from all those groups, there's never a guarantee of a productive result. Because the time frame, you can't, this is such a huge fiasco. I consider this one of the biggest frauds, and I had one of the videos I put up a few days ago. This is one of the biggest scams, if not the biggest scam in U.S. history. It's brilliantly done. I have to give it to them. They were brilliant. They used every single nook and cranny they could think of, twisting rules as they went along, shutting down voting in the swing states, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, to shut it all down, and then proceeded to put in hundreds of thousands of ballots through the back door. God knows where they came from. The chain of custody is in question on all of them. It's just absolutely absurd. It's just chaos. This is banana republic stuff, folks. This is how your country to run? This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Where's the DOJ and the FBI in all this, Mr. President? You have laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't there be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they? Fox News' Maria Bartiromo asked Trump on Sunday during his first interview since Election Day. I like Maria a lot. Always have. Missing in action. Can't tell you where they are. I asked, what are they looking at? Everybody says, yes, they're looking at it, Trump responded. Where are they with all this stuff? And what happened to Durham? Where's Durham? So you're asking me a question. These people have been there a long time, and I know the FBI, and the FBI is great at the levels that we talked about, but it's inconceivable. You would think that if you're in the FBI or Department of Justice, this is the biggest thing you could ever be looking at. I agree. In history, almost in the history of the country, let alone since Watergate. Where are they? I've not seen anything. I mean, they just keep moving along, and they go to the next president. They've been there a long time. People don't understand this. They've been there a long time. Some of them have served a lot of different presidents, and they have their own views. All I can say is that I haven't heard. And with all the fraud that's taken place, nobody has come to me and said, oh, the FBI's nabbed. You know, the people that are doing this, Trump concluded. We won the election easily. There's no way Joe Biden got 80 million votes. It's true. I just said there's no way Joe Biden beat Barack Obama in the black communities in various cities. And then we did pretty badly compared to Obama in other cities throughout the United States. There's just no way it happened. The election was a fraud. It was a rigged election. The Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society filed lawsuits challenging election results in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. It's true. How can you have these huge anomalies that have been pretty much etched in stone? In other words, we'll say the percent of black voters in L.A. County compared to the percent of black voters in the county where Philadelphia is or Milwaukee is. It just makes no sense. Those swings don't happen. They just don't happen. And you're saying, John, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Well, it's right there. You just have to put all the pieces together. And it's impossible. That's why the strategy was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I got to give it to the Democrats. It's an amazing what they pulled off. And we'll see if they get away with it. Now, there's a 99% chance that Joe Biden would be sworn in as the next president. Okay. Was it worth it? Was it worth destroying the Democrat Party? They're in shambles now. But even more importantly, who cares about the parties? It hurts the American people. After this COVID stuff and the economic disasters and the unconstitutional lockdowns of a lot of these governors, you're going to pile it on some more. I find it interesting that I just saw a story that starting December 7th, de Blasio says we're going to phase in openings of schools. Isn't it amazing now how they're going to phase in all this stuff after the election? This whole thing stinks. And even people that hate Donald Trump should be alarmed. Alarmed at what are they going to pull next? What Banana Republic crap are they going to do now? Well, we'll see. We'll see what they get away with. Anyway, folks, until next time, goodbye and good luck.